I'm the billionaire's daughter, and because of my rare blood type, my parents went to a poverty-stricken area to find a kid with the same blood type to act as a backup blood bank. As compensation, they took her in as an adopted daughter. The day I returned home after 3 years as an exchange student, I found out that my 2 brothers were throwing a lavish birthday party for the adopted daughter, Kathy. Right in front of all the guests, they announced that Kathy was the real daughter of the family and that I was the backup blood bank. When Kathy wanted my room for her studio, they tossed my stuff into the maid's room. When she wanted shares of the company, they took the stock transfer documents our dad left me and handed them to her without a second thought. She even liked my fiancé, so the childhood marriage promise switched from me to her. In my past life, I didn't retaliate out of familial love when they tortured me to death. But now that I've been reborn, I want to get revenge on everyone. Through the noisy banquet hall, I saw Kathy surrounded by people, getting praised. When someone said that I, the adopted daughter, wasn't even worth one of Kathy's toes, I ripped the pink diamond necklace off her neck. This was a birthday gift Dad paid a fortune for. You're just an orphan from the sticks, and you dare flaunt other people's things without any shame? Everyone was stunned, and soon enough, mocking voices erupted. They thought I hadn't woken up, causing a scene at my sister's birthday party. I just wanted to steal the spotlight like a crazed hillbilly. My 2 brothers rushed over to protect Kathy. She clutched her neck, looking pitifully teary-eyed. Ken immediately took off his jacket and draped it over her, shouting for the maid to fetch the first aid kit. Ben shoved me hard, screaming, "Luna, have you lost your mind, daring to hurt your sister? This necklace is Dad's birthday gift to his real daughter. Are you?" He sneered. "Don't push your luck. Hand over the necklace." I clutched it tightly, smirking coldly, "Real daughter? She's the real one, and I'm fake, huh? Ben, did you get your head slammed by a door? You can't even recognize your real sister. Dare to say that in front of Dad?" Ben's face turned purple with rage, but Kathy held him back, sighing understandingly, "Let it go, Ben. After all, my sister came from a backward rural area and hasn't developed any manners. Don't blame her. It's my fault for not guiding her well. It's my responsibility. If not for my rare blood type, my parents wouldn't have brought her into the family as an adopted daughter. It all boils down to my own frailty. I should give in to her." I almost burst out laughing. It was her classic act. In my previous life, I tolerated Kathy's sweet yet belittling words. She loved to say things that seemed considerate but actually put me down while making herself look golden. Everyone thought I was nothing but garbage while Kathy was like the moon in the sky. In reality, she's a slacker who needed backdoor help to get into college. Predictably, the guests were brainwashed and started gossiping. Kathy truly is the real daughter of the billionaire family. So kind and sensible, unlike some who think they're a phoenix with just a chicken feather. Exactly, a hillbilly orphan. We treat her well and she's still not satisfied, even coveting the real daughter's things. Outrageous. Kathy shook her head, looking helpless as usual. "I can take some grievances, no need to blame my sister. After all, coming from such a difficult place, I understand her jealousy. I'll do my best to guide her and help her find the right path." Her magnanimous act made people feel sorry for her, saying, "Miss Kathy, you're too easygoing. Yeah, you're too kind. People like her won't be grateful." Ken's voice cut through, demanding, "Hand over the necklace." I was seething, my eyes red with anger. This necklace was given to me by Dad. He squinted dangerously. "Luna, our family didn't take you in for you to bully my real sister. If you can't acknowledge your status as an adopted daughter, then get out." I couldn't believe such words came out of Ken, who had always treated me with such affection. My heart was cold. I laughed. "This house isn't yours to decide on who gets out. No one's taking this necklace today." Ben erupted, shouting at the nearby servants, "Are you all dead? Just watching this brat steal Mrs. belongings? Go grab it." The housekeeper rolled up her sleeves and rushed forward. She'd exchanged glances with Kathy moments ago, so I knew she was bought off. I grabbed a wine bottle, smashed it on the dessert table, and brandished the sharp end. "Let's see who dares. Think it over. My parents pay your wages. I dare anyone to touch me, or they'll be out of a job by tomorrow." Everyone was too stunned by my fierceness to make a move. Many have been working for my family for years and knew me, hesitating nervously. But the housekeeper lunged, snatching my necklace, grinning as she handed it to Kathy. Kathy, I've watched you grow up, and nobody will pretend to be you or take your things. This necklace was made for you. I kicked the housekeeper's knee hard. You're just hired help. Who gave you the guts to snatch things from me? Is Kathy paying you more than my parents? The housekeeper's eyes flickered with guilt. Kathy rushed to shield the housekeeper. Sister, take it out on me, not the housekeeper. She's old, and she only said those things because she cares for me. Even though this pink diamond necklace was my birthday gift from Dad, you've been envious for a long time, secretly wearing it when I wasn't home. I won't hold it against you so long as you stop bullying the housekeeper. I'll even give you the necklace. A perfectly timed tear rolled down her cheek. I pointed incredulously at myself. Me? Jealous? Me, the daughter of a billionaire, jealous of her. Makes me want to puke. The guests couldn't bear it either. Living it up for a few days, and she thinks she's actually the billionaire's daughter, all while bullying the help. Seriously, take a good look at yourself. Luna's so toxic, like a real-life ungrateful wretch. Poor Kathy, getting bullied by this fake heiress. Her birthday party got ruined by her, like a rat dropping in the food. Such bad luck. Ken frowned. Have you had enough of your tantrums? You need to be the family disgrace to be happy? This necklace is called the one because Dad wanted to tell everyone that Kathy is his one true daughter. Have we been too good to you all these years and made you forget what you truly are? Ben suggested, why not send her back to that rural area? With our family's means, we can find another with the same blood type as Kathy, no problem. I looked at the two brothers who have known me since childhood. I shivered. Mom and Dad spent a lot of money originally finding several kids with matching blood types. Let me choose one to bring back as an adopted daughter. But Ken and Ben saw pictures of these kids and they both picked Kathy instantly. I thought it didn't matter who it was, just someone who would grow up with me and donate blood if needed. Now that I think about it, their reaction was odd at the time. Two totally different personalities choosing the same girl. In my last life, during our parents' business trip, they threw a big birthday bash for Kathy. They announced to everyone that Kathy was the true daughter and that I was merely the paid-for backup. I was called shameless by everyone, and, with Kathy's instigation, was forced to drink a bottle of strong liquor and locked in a basement. By the time my parents got back, I was dead from an alcohol allergy, and my body was already decaying. Before, I would have been reduced to tears by my respected brother's accusations, unable to speak up, let alone defend myself. This time, I stood tall, challenging them. You know who's the real daughter here? Bullying me in front of everyone? Just wait until Mom and Dad get back. Let's see how you explain this. Even being yelled at like this, I was still tough, which made some of the guests start doubting. Could this Luna actually be the real heiress? I mean, while her clothes are plain, she does look a lot like the missus. Seeing guests start to shift sides, Kathy looked a bit flustered. She bit her lip, choking back tears. Sister, I gave you the necklace, so why the fuss? You know today's my birthday. Are you just trying to embarrass me? Alright, as long as you stop shaming our family, bringing our parents and brothers dishonor, I'll say you're the real daughter and I'm just the adopted one. Satisfied? Then she bowed deeply. I'm sorry, distinguished guests, you didn't have a perfect time today because of me. As an adopted daughter, I don't deserve such a grand birthday party. I apologize. Kathy cried a river, painting herself as the self-sacrificing one for the family's reputation, pushed to this point by an ungrateful foster sister. The guests were furious. Luna, your family feeds and clothes you and you repay them like this? Lightning isn't going to strike you down? Sleep with one eye open. Even beasts have more humanity than you. What did her family do to deserve such a pest? Apologize to Miss Kathy right now. As everyone got riled up, a tall figure emerged from the crowd. It was Max, my childhood betrothed. Wearing a sharp black suit with slicked back hair, he wasn't bad looking. But his words churned my stomach. Luna, you're saying you're the real daughter because you're in love with me, but today you've gone too far. He glanced at Kathy's tear-streaked face, heartbroken, and declared. I've only ever loved Kathy and will only marry her. No matter how stubborn you are, I won't pay you any attention. I've seen plenty of women like you, greedy, cowardly, trying to latch onto me to become a rich lady. Look at yourself, do you think you measure up? My wife should be as kind and generous as Kathy. He tenderly dried Kathy's tears with a handkerchief as I glimpsed the smug satisfaction in Kathy's eyes. Trying to act generous and gracious, she said, "Max, don't say that about my sister. She's just a bit jealous, mean, and shallow, with a tendency to twist the truth, and dreams she's the real heiress. But other than that, she's got no malice. When people are speechless, they just want to laugh." Max, from a small family made big by my parents' leftovers, says I'm trying to latch onto him? I'm not that desperate or stupid. Before I could speak, Kathy's friends chimed in with their sneers. "Luna, what's that face? Jealous? Max just claimed he won't marry anyone but Kathy, so why don't you get lost?" Someone chuckled under their breath. Is she still dreaming she's the heiress and wants to marry Max? Oh my god, throwing herself at him, no shame. Then Kathy feigned concern. Everyone, please consider her background. She was born unlucky, raised in the wilderness, sold as a wife to some old man by her relatives. She just lacks love and needs our understanding. In my 20-something years, I've never met someone as shameless as Kathy. Everything she said happened to her, not me. If my parents hadn't adopted her in time, she'd be stuck with that old man, kids and all. Kathy, aren't you the one with psychological issues? Knowing what you're like now, I should have told my parents not to adopt you, leaving you with that old man forever. Kathy's eyes turned red in an instant, and she cried with such grievance. Sister, I knew you'd be quick to pin everything on me again. Is blaming me for all the bad stuff the only thing that makes you happy? Fine, if that's how it is, do what makes you feel better. That way, maybe you won't freak out the guests anymore. Ken, unable to hold back, snapped, Luna, that's enough. Even having a dog would be better than dealing with you. After saying that, he told Ben to go fetch a document from the study. When I saw the stock transfer agreement with Kathy's name on it, I felt like I was struck by lightning. I just froze. Everyone at the party was stunned. It was 60% of the company's shares. With it, one could make any decision for the company. Before I went abroad as an exchange student, my dad had shown me these shares himself. He said they'd be my birthday gift when I got back. Dad wouldn't lie to me. So it must be Ken and Ben who are deceiving me. Look closely at Dad's signature and his stamp. If you were really his true heir, why doesn't your name appear on this document? Ken slapped the document onto my face. He wasn't worried I'd tear it up right there. With so many people watching, tearing it up would just confirm my guilt. The writing was clearly Dad's, and the stamp was the one he kept in the safe. A horrifying thought crossed my mind. Were my unfeeling brothers the reason for Dad's death? Then I quickly dismissed the idea. My parents had called me just before I returned home, saying they'd be back tomorrow. Just then, Kathy walked over with a fake smile. Sister, even if you want to replace me, the truth can't be disguised. It's just bad luck you were born into poverty. But don't worry, since you've been my backup blood bank for so long, and I've been your sister, I won't treat you unfairly. She waved to a short, chubby man nearby. The guy, rubbing his hands, grinned foolishly and lunged toward me. I dodged quickly, avoiding him. Isn't he the housekeeper's son with the intelligence of a 5-year-old? The sight of saliva drooling from his mouth sent chills down my spine. But Ken spoke up. What's the matter? You're going to marry him soon so long as you don't lose a limb. The housekeeper's eyes lit up with excitement. I was too shocked to comprehend. Was this some sick joke, or did I hear him wrong? Ben impatiently shoved me. You're just a hillbilly who's been touched by a man over 60. Be grateful this fool even wants you. Kathy, ever the kinda one, sacrificed her birthday party for your wedding. Today, our siblings decided. Get married now, be obedient afterward, and maybe we'll consider you family. Kathy muffled a laugh. Sister, you just hit the housekeeper, and she didn't even hold a grudge. How about you kneel and serve her tea, then move on? Give her a grandson quickly, the housekeeper's kind, she won't mistreat you. Yeah. Serve the tea, and you're officially my daughter-in-law. Sleep with my son tonight. Furious, I kicked the housekeeper who fell crying, wailing. I shot a cold glare. Dare touch me. My parents will skin you alive when they return. She flinched, her voice small and scared. And you, Ken and Ben, lay another finger on me, and our parents won't forgive you. The guests murmured, yet none stepped in to help. Ridiculous, you're among billionaires, since you're Kathy's backup, they won't treat you poorly. Exactly, fooled around by an old man before, now living with someone young. Lucky you, why so dramatic? Ben directly grabbed my arms. Which knee hit the housekeeper? This one? He kicked my knee hard. I held the pain in at first, but then couldn't take it. I fell to the ground. I struggled, let me go. I am the real heiress. Kathy's a fake. Nobody cared, they laughed, thinking I'd lost it again. Ken pinned my shoulders down. You dared to hit your mother-in-law? As your brother, I'll teach you a lesson today. One held my shoulders, the other forced my head to the ground. The idiot pinned me too, drooling, Mary. Helpless and humiliated, tears streamed down my face. A familiar voice rang from the entrance, stop it. What are you doing to my precious daughter? Hearing Dad's voice, the pressure disappeared instantly. I collapsed on the floor, watching my parents rush to me with worry. All the pent-up anger and shame poured out, I couldn't hold back. Mom, Dad, you're finally back. Mom wiped my tears and hugged me tight, sweetie, don't be scared, Mommy's here. Dad's face darkened as he glared at my brothers. Did you force my daughter to bow to these scumbags and let this idiot bully her? Silence fell over the room, except for the idiot laughing foolishly. My dad flipped out, kicked the idiot away. The housekeeper screamed, trying to rush over, but Dad glared. Did I say you could move? Some well-trained bodyguards entered, forming a line, all in black suits. The housekeeper's legs gave out, and she crumbled to the floor in fear. Ken, annoyed, asked, Mom, Dad, didn't you say you'd be back tomorrow? Why early? Mom snorted, had we not, who knows how you'd treat my daughter. Hearing this, the guests were all in shock. So Luna was the real daughter all along? Are these two brothers out of their minds? Helping a fake bully their own sister like that? Exactly, forcing their own sister to marry an idiot? Nobody in their right mind would do something so outrageous. And that adopted girl is the worst. Clearly a counterfeit, yet pretending to be the real deal. She's got some nerve. They say from poor places come tough people, but do they produce sluts too? Kathy listened in, her face pale, eyes filled with embarrassment and resentment. Ken defended her immediately, saying it wasn't Kathy's fault. It's just Luna causing trouble. Not only did Luna take Kathy's stuff, but she also made a scene at Kathy's birthday party and embarrassed our family. As Ken, I gave her a small lesson for her own good. My mom couldn't take it anymore. She slapped him hard, saying, if you can't speak like a person, you might as well cut your tongue out. How dare you call yourself Luna's brother? My daughter, who I treated like a treasure, and here you are, making her kneel to a maid. Ben tried to argue, Mom, Luna has no respect for elders, and even hit the housekeeper. Do you think she's studying abroad, or hanging out with riffraff learning to be a hooligan? As her brothers, we were teaching her. Is it right for her to hit someone? Aren't you making a big deal out of it? My dad laughed in exasperation, oh, my daughter's being unruly? How so? Did she kick you in the head or punch you in the groin? My dad, having been a former construction foreman with a tough edge, had seen it all. After succeeding, he toned it down, but I was his only soft spot. Messing with me was like pulling a tiger's whiskers. Ben fell silent, not daring to speak. Kathy walked over pitifully, Mom, Dad, don't blame my brothers. This is all my fault. I shouldn't have had a birthday party, shouldn't have wished to be like other girls, blessed by everyone. She thought her acting was unbeatable. But my parents were exceptions. It is your fault, my mom said with no mercy. Don't you know your place? Who gave you the right to boss over my daughter? Have a few good days and forget who you are? We feed and clothe you, and you take advantage? With Luna's dad away, do you just think you can take her place? Where's your shame? The guests exchanged looks of disdain towards Kathy. Kathy was humiliated beyond belief. I clung to my mom's arm, crying, Mom, I thought I wasn't your real daughter. Just now, sister said I took her necklace, but Dad bought it for me. I tried to get it back, and the housekeeper took it for her, so I got mad and kicked her. My brothers then forced me to kneel and apologize, and even wanted me to marry the housekeeper's idiot son. They said, since you were away, as my brothers, they could decide for me. If you hadn't come home just in time, they would've. Before I could finish, my parents' eyes were red with anger. They thought I was just bullied. They didn't know I almost got lost. Last time, my parents came back a day later and found my lifeless body, aging decades in an instant. This time, they were early and saved me. Dad furiously grabbed Ken by the collar, not letting him explain, and hurled him into the towering champagne tower. The glass came crashing down on him. You dare play head of the family with my precious daughter? Do you have a death wish? Seeing this, Ben turned pale and tried to flee, only to be pinned by bodyguards. Dad pressed his head. Just now, making Luna kneel was fun, wasn't it? Go on, do it yourself. Forcing my daughter to marry a fool? You kneel till you're senseless. Ben didn't dare argue, immediately slapping himself. Dad, I was wrong. I truly know my mistake. Nobody had any sympathy for his fake apologies. Kathy kneeled instantly, pleading, Mom, Dad, don't hurt my brothers. They only made a small mistake because they cared for me. I'll apologize for them. Please Luna, let's stop this. They are your brothers, don't you care about family? Even now, she tried using morality against me. I won't give her what she wants. Pointing at the trembling housekeeper, you tell me, what's going on? Kathy gasped, trying to intervene, only to be silenced by my mom's scolding. She backed down reluctantly. Sensing trouble, the housekeeper shifted blame, not me. It was all Kathy's idea. Said at the birthday party, we'd find a way to make the young miss marry my son, making it a done deal before you returned. When you ask, say she got drunk and went to his room willingly. She gave me $2 million for the act, claiming if Luna was revealed as the adopted one, no one would question it. I was selfish, wanting my son cared for since he's a fool. I lost my head for a moment. My mom, unable to bear it, kicked away the housekeeper clinging to her. Drunk. Luna is severely allergic to alcohol. She's never touched a drop. Have you been brainless for 20 years here? Then, I caught Kathy hiding a share transfer agreement behind her back. My expression changed as I asked Dad, if I'm your real daughter, why transfer 60% of the company to Kathy? Kathy froze, terrified. My dad was bewildered. Nonsense, she's nothing. Why would I do that? You're my treasure, it's for you. Confirmed, I snatched the agreement from behind Kathy and handed it to Dad. Dad's face darkened considerably after seeing it. He turned to the guilty-looking Ken, barely standing, and threw the papers at him. So this is the account you said you needed my stamp for, to set up for Luna? Without letting him respond, he demanded, Ken, do you even know who your sister really is? Ken was all bluster and no substance, trying to act tough. Kathy went through a lot in the mountains. Why can't I treat her a little better? I mean, what's the big deal about giving her a bit of stock? Wasn't she Luna's backup blood donor? If I didn't treat her well, no one would have saved Luna when she was in danger. My mom was furious, her eyes turning red with anger. Kathy's just an adopted daughter. Without her, we could find another person with the same blood type. All these years, Luna has been perfectly healthy and never needed her blood. Yet Kathy has enjoyed the same lifestyle as Luna without any shortcomings. And what did she do? She schemed to marry my daughter off to a fool and seize the title of the heiress. Who does she think she is? Pointing at Ken, she dropped a bombshell that left everyone stunned. You're just like her, worthless. We should never have picked you up from the orphanage. The crowd gasped, almost choking on gossip this juicy. Even I was taken aback. But then I quickly regained my composure. Wow, Ken isn't even their real son? That's wild. Ben, crawling like a dog, clung to Dad's leg. Dad, I'm your real son. I'm the only son you've got now. Dad kicked him off with a sneer. You, who are as useless as a pile of mud, always shirking responsibilities, my son. You don't resemble me at all. I could never be as pathetic as you. He pointed at Ken and Ben. Both of you were brought home from the orphanage. If you weren't left at our doorstep on a freezing winter night, and I wasn't trying to accumulate good karma for Luna, your mom and I would never have taken you in. Luna is my only biological daughter and my only treasure. The two of them stood there stripped of their facade, their faces a mix of anger and embarrassment, but no surprise. Just as I suspected, they must have known all along they weren't the biological sons, which is why they had no hesitation in trying to take me down. The sharper guests pieced it together and gasped. So, these outsiders plotted together to take out the real heiress, aiming to take over the family. That's some underhanded stuff. Dad didn't want to waste any more words. He called security and had Ken, Ben, and Kathy thrown out. Ken panicked, "Dad, even if I'm not your real son, I've been loyal to you for years, managing the company. Over one little mistake, are you just going to throw me out?" Dad's voice turned icy. "A little mistake? You nearly killed my daughter, and you call that a little mistake? If not for raising you all these years, do you think you'd still be standing here? Get lost, and don't let me see you again." Ken's face turned a blotchy mix of pale and blue. In anger and desperation, he shouted, "With no son, you think Luna can handle the family business alone? Dream on. I'll be waiting for the day you crawl back begging me." After they left, Mom was still seething. Should we call the police and have them all locked up? How dare they mistreat my daughter? I'll see them rot in jail. Mom, without us, they've got nothing. Dad wants them to realize that without our family, they couldn't even make it as nobodies. In jail, they'd still have food and shelter. Out there, they may not even scrape by. I have to say, Dad's wisdom knows no bounds. He smiled and nodded, "I'll make sure all company shares are transferred to you." That's when the butler cautiously stepped forward, trying to appease us. Dad instructed security to cut off her connections, as well as all those who collaborated against my daughter. Their only option now would be to beg on the streets. There was a chorus of heart-wrenching cries, but I felt no sympathy. People have to face the consequences of their actions. If you choose to harm others, you better be ready for them to strike back. Dad ordered the cameras reviewed, ensuring that anyone present who had insulted or slandered us would be blacklisted from any business collaborations. They'd be blackballed in the industry. The next day, Max's family showed up with gifts, hoping to smooth things over. Dad wouldn't even let them in. "Uncle, Luna is the only one I love. Please, give me another chance." But Dad, having seen the surveillance footage, was already disappointed in Max. He thought not disturbing us would be better, but now that he's shown his face, he's just asking for it. Luna shouldn't have to deal with someone who loves a different person each day. Buzz off. This supposed childhood engagement was something your family pushed onto us. We never acknowledged it. You've been spreading fake tales of your engagement with my daughter. I have my dignity. Oh, and that person you loved yesterday? She's living under the bridge now. Go find her. I wish you two everlasting happiness. Max and his family left humiliated and ran off with Max in tow. Ben turned purple with anger while Kathy tried to be insightful. "Let it go, Ben. Luna, coming from the backwoods, naturally lacks manners. Don't stoop to his level. I, as an older sister, should have guided better. It's partly my fault." Security immediately stopped her. Looking closely, I realized it was Ken they were restraining. Just 2 weeks, and they'd already fallen this low. Thinking of Ken's arrogant departure that day, I could only laugh. I'm a rich family's heir. You nobodies dare stop me? You must want to lose your jobs. I should be the chairman today. Passers-by stared, wondering which mental hospital he'd escaped from. Ben, hunched over, looked even worse. I'm a rich family's son. I don't need to be chairman. Can you spare some change? Just $100. No, 50 will do. I'm so hungry, please help. Can't you do anything? I can't even get a couple of bucks for a big meal, new clothes, and bags. You're useless. Ken slapped her across the face, furious. How dare you speak? If it weren't for you, would we be here now? It's all your fault. His anger escalating, he grabbed Kathy by the hair and beat her in the street. Ben joined in, kicking and punching her. The entire street echoed with Kathy's cries. I smirked, having seen enough of their infighting, and turned to enter the elevator. My assistant had already filled me in on their background. They all came from the same orphanage. Kathy was adopted by another family and lingered as a childhood crush for the two boys, a thorn in their hearts. After being taken in by my family, they used connections to track her down, finding her married off to a 60-year-old man in the mountains. They tried everything to bring someone back without a good excuse. Then, my parents decided to bring home an adopted daughter with the same blood type as mine. Kathy didn't even have the same blood type as me, they secretly swapped it. They spent years planning, raising Kathy right under their noses, using my family's money to ease their guilt. Kathy's ambition was fed by them. She envied my glamorous life and wanted to take my place. Looking down from the top floor windows, I saw Kathy beaten down on the ground, with a pool of blood nearby. I smirked coldly and called the police. To people as selfish as them, someone admired from afar is only meant to be admired at a distance. Once taken down, they're just a piece of rice stuck to your clothes. The assistant walked in and said respectfully, "Chairman, the meeting is ready, just waiting for you to lead." I nodded, "All right."